Oh, Vanessa, you are on the air, my friend.
Hello, Matt.
Hey.
Very nice to be here with you.
Oh, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you.
All right, so Black Moon Lilith. Now, most of our listeners, they if they've been listening for a while, now they know the 12 signs, and they've heard me or guests talk about Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, full moon, new moon, all that type of stuff. I think we have talked about Black Moon Lilith a few years ago, but I think it's been a while. So perhaps you could let people know, what is Black Moon Lilith and how does it relate to their astrological charts?
Okay. So, yeah, Black Moon Lilith is a very interesting astrological point. Very rich and very practical as well, as it manifests itself in a very strong and interesting way. What is it like astronomically? Yeah, it's this astrological point, which is a virtual point. It's not like another planet or something, but it's this point in the moon's elliptical orbit, where it is furthest away from the Earth. So it's what we call the moon's apogee. Yeah, and this is a very strong energetic point, let's say, because it is this point, and also symbolically, because it is this point where the moon almost, it is as if it almost escaped from the Earth, yeah, but it doesn't, because it is right there that the pull of gravity shows its force. So it's exactly where, like, the moon is furthest away, but it's exactly when the pull of gravity brings it back towards the Earth. And this point goes around the zodiac for, it takes like 9 months to go around the zodiac, the time of pregnancy. So we can observe there two very interesting concepts to relate to it and to understand its effects. One is that of gravity, and the other one is that of pregnancy or gestation. So it's also interesting to observe in Portuguese. These two words have the same roots. So gravity, gravidade, and pregnancy, gravidez. So always graves. So it's the same root. And that made an interesting link to observe and to study Black Moon Lilith, because it has to do with this thing of bringing down to earth, materializing, forming a body. And so it tells us about our body a lot, our body formation, and also like the basic impulses, the basic life impulses, like life or death impulses, yeah? The very basic survival, and there's a very basic life force that forms the body, that forms the fetus, and that makes life possible. But it's also it's also related to like spelling, like during like birth, like spelling the body out of the mother's body, yeah, the baby's body. So it's a very strong thing. It's different from the white moon, though it is very complementary. But it is different, because like the white moon related to Cancer is like all cozy, like if we would leave it all to the white moon, oh, the baby would just stay right there inside the mom, you know, all safe and sound and warm. But the black moon has this visceral touch, and it is also related to Capricorn, yeah? We could consider it related to Capricorn, the opposite of the moon, and at the same time exalted in Scorpio. Yeah, so this thing with the impulses, people often refer to it as related to Scorpio. It's not directly related. It has a connection, but it's not like Pluto, you know? It's not just, oh, yeah, sex drive, like sometimes people take it, yeah? It's more of a basic instinct. And it's something very interesting to understand, because it's about very basic impulses, yeah, in our day-to-day life. Like this very thing of choosing, like if we're going to go, let's say, against ourselves or for ourselves in life. Because it's like this very basic impulse that somehow gives color to our moves throughout life. It's this undercurrent that is actually motivating our life. Yeah.
Got it. So how did you get into Black Moon Lilith? I believe you are certainly but certainly Brazil's foremost expert on these matters.
Well, it kind of presented itself in my life when I was, it was like 2001, I started to study with a couple of astrologers, women, that taught me a lot from the feminine angle and this relation to pregnancy and like the fetus experience, the experience of the undercurrent experiences of the mother, the unspoken experience, not the official version, which is the white moon will tell us, the idea of a mother or the most official or most visible impressions, we get from our mother and the feminine figure. But Black Moon Lilith then relating to this undercurrent aspect of it. And then I also studied with a male astrologer that emphasized this thing of, but it has to do with gravity. So then relating these things, it was very interesting to me because of my own experience with dancing and with meditation. So a lot of personal experience with this thing of like how impulses manifest through our bodies and stuff, and how we convert our impulses and life force, destructive or creative impulses, into creative expressions. And so somehow it touched me personally, but also as a psychologist, a psychoanalytical psychologist, because I was studying Lacan, which was a very strong influence to me in my work as a therapist, as a psychologist. And I had some patients that had very strong situations with owning their bodies, like kids and also adults, and also people that went through situations of thinking of killing themselves and how to find a way to manage not only to stay alive, but to bring brighter colors to their life and to really unfold and find themselves in life. And like this one girl that got that through dancing. She went from thinking of killing herself to becoming a dancer and really like flowering in her life. And kids that had some difficulties like with managing their bodies and how to own it, how to manage to defend themselves and to speak for themselves. And that's got a lot to do with this astrological point, like Lilith. So relating all these things, and the concept, Jacques Lacan, this psychoanalyst, French psychoanalyst, he brings this concept of the real, which is this very, like, not just the sense of reality that we share as humans, but more like the actual raw experience of being, like, in a body, being in the material experience of a body, being flesh, and all these very, like, raw aspects of experiencing life. Not the meaning we give to it just, but this more the experience itself and this visceral aspect of life. So this concept, I totally could relate it, and not only from the theory, but also from the practice, with people, and even in my own experience with dancing and with meditation. So, somehow that helped me a lot to understand, and then to study it, and with my clients in astrology, throughout the years. So it's been now like 15 years studying it, and it's been a very interesting ride.
Yeah, I bet. Can you give an example? So, like right now, Black Moon Lilith is in Libra. So if there was a person or a creative project born under the current transits, how would Black Moon Lilith, say in Libra, and maybe we'll say the third house just to make it a more concrete example. How would that be different than say like Black Moon Lilith in Leo in the 10th?
Okay, you mean in the third house in Libra, you said?
Yeah. Or you can use whatever house you want. I'm just using it as an example so that folks can get a more concrete example. Okay.
Yeah, well, you see, Black Moon Lilith in Libra has this potential, because okay, now I've explained a lot, about like how to get to understand Black Moon Lilith, but if we go like more directly to, okay, so what is it about, in a chart? It's about a great difficulty or a great talent, because it is at this very like basic level, of motivation, like very, very basic level of motivation, not just our ideas or even our emotions, more like how we feel we can do, from our very, very bodies, like how we feel we can do things. So as it operates in that level, it will tell us about a great difficulty and or a great talent. So there's this potential of a great talent. So we can see like at the same the same amount of difficulty is the same amount of potential there is in that point. Yeah. So Black Moon Lilith in Libra. One thing, Coco Chanel. Yeah.
Okay.
So fashion, like this reference that probably will stay as a reference throughout the history, in the fashion world. Yeah, Coco Chanel. She has Black Moon Lilith in Libra, and in conjunction to her midheaven, which is like the outer expression, the career, the public image. Another reference is Nelson Mandela. Because also, and I talked about Coco Chanel because of all the this connection that Libra has with beauty, aesthetics, elegance, harmony. So this very much related to fashion in that sense.
But also,
oh,
go on.
Sorry.
Well, she was a businesswoman when it wasn't okay to be a businesswoman, right?
Yeah, exactly, and even because you see, Black Moon Lilith is a very interesting point that has many aspects to it. One of them is that of being kind of like a rebel point as well. Now, it can also manifest in that sense, as it is Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. So it's like the other aspect of the feminine, not just the white moon. Eve aspect, if we go into mythology, but also like the other aspect of the feminine that relates to Adam, the male reference, Right. So it's this more like rebellious side as well. So the sign where Black Moon Lilith is will also be somehow like have this rebel touch to it. It might also be manifested in that way. So also Coco Chanel, she would wear kind of like turn men's clothes into also like feminine clothes, but in a different way. Yeah. She would like kind of re-signify, the references of feminine and masculine in fashion. And also that, like, what can a woman do? And at the same time, she can also be very feminine and very elegant, but also do things that men do, no?
Yeah.
So she had that very strong touch and influence into the world, midheaven is also like as we go into the world. So Nelson Mandela, then we can see the Libra as, then from this diplomatic point of view, because Black Moon Lilith in Libra is a capacity, potential to be diplomatic from like our very gut, from this very visceral level. So it is a capacity not to react. Very different from Black Moon Lilith in Aries, which is like Bruce Lee, which is like this. Yeah, it's like the opposite.
Does
it's
he
like
have it?
Immediate response.
Does he have it in is his Black Moon Lilith in Aries?
Yeah,
well,
in Aries.
You know the movie Die Hard. He's best known for Die Hard. Die Hard has Mars at 0 Aries.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You see, Yeah.
and activated
Yeah,
his own natal Black Moon Lilith.
Yeah, Mars, you said, yeah?
Yeah, zero Aries. So, and then I guess in that film.
No, excellent, because, I mean, because it is a dispositor, the ruler of Aries, is a very strong thing when it conjuncts the Black Moon, no? So, interesting. You were going to say something?
Oh, no, you were saying, so Nelson Mandela is in Libra as compared to Bruce Willis, who's is in an Aries.
No, sorry. Yeah, you were saying Die Hard, I was thinking no, but is there like a Bruce Lee? No, I was talking about Bruce Lee.
Oh, I thought you meant, wait, I thought, sorry, my bad. I thought you meant, what's his name?
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Okay,
I
was thinking, is there another Die Hard that I don't know?
No. But, okay, so my mistake there. Yeah, but it would totally make sense. Bruce Lee, if Nelson Mandela was all about diplomacy, Bruce Lee, he was all about laying the smackdown on fools.
Yeah, like the capacity, the potential to really react, like instantly, It's like the body just really reacts. So, because then if you have Black Moon Lilith in Aries, it's like having a great difficulty in reacting. But such a like visceral, difficulty to be able to defend oneself that it becomes then the opposite. It becomes like this really immediate capacity to be there and to react and to take initiative. Yeah. So the opposite, Black Moon Lilith in Libra, as Nelson Mandela has, then it's the opposite. It's like this thing of like, oh man, what a great difficulty it is to deal with the other. Yeah, Libra is the sign of the other. The possibility of really considering the other. Yeah. So it's like, Black Moon Lilith, there is like really knowing how hard it is to relate to others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this great potential and this great talent, when converted into talent, when the difficulty is then converted, and I emphasize this, at this very basic level of the impulses, it's not just about ideas. It's like really converting that weird feeling, into a capacity, but really from our guts. So then it's like this really visceral talent to be diplomatic and not to react, just like overreact to things, and to really be able to sustain something and not just be aggressive, so just the opposite. And he really, managed to stay for years and years and years, not reacting in a violent way and not losing his head or something and losing his mind over so many things that he could be mad about, and he managed to, reach his goals through a lot of diplomacy and tact.
What about Black Moon Lilith in Cancer?
Okay, Black Moon Lilith in Cancer is like, so first we see like, from the difficulty point of view, it's about somehow something kind of like weird or uncomfortable about like the cozy aspect, of like a home or mother or families, and that can even be because perhaps the mother was even like, too comfortable, too nice, or there was some experience that wasn't that comfortable, that wasn't let's say conventional, so there's like this kind of like, but at the same time, this great potential to feel things in a very, very strong way, and to be very caring and nurturing, that then when converted into talent. And it's something that when singers have that, for instance, it gives this really strong potential in their voices that they can transmit, like those singers that you just feel like they touch deeply, your feelings and emotions. And James Joplin has it, for instance. Mick Jagger has it, voices that somehow they invade you, they invade emotions, they go into people and really move masses. Yeah.
Got it.
So these are another really, really beautiful expression of Black Moon Lilith in Cancer as a talent is tango.
Tango.
Because Buenos Aires,
Okay.
yeah, the capital of Argentina, where the tango was born, has Black Moon Lilith in Cancer.
Mm.
And just to kind of give you an idea about it, it's like people that were, different people from different, some like Italian people, some local people from the South American continent, and many people from different places, yeah, from Germany, Italy, Spain, and that would gather together. So they in Buenos Aires, yeah, they were living there, and it was really like kind of like hard. They didn't know what their future would be. So they didn't really have this feeling of belonging, yeah, and being safe. Cancer, yeah, belonging and being safe. And they converted that into this dance where they would embrace each other in the middle of the street and start dancing in the middle of the street, yeah, in an embrace. So, and then it's something very, very strong now in the culture, and it actually became a very familiar and belonging reference to Argentinians, yeah?
Yeah.
Wherever in the world they may be, if tango is there, it's like, oh, they belong to that.
Oh, yeah. What's Buenos Aires sun? What's the rest of the chart for Buenos Aires look like?
Sorry?
What's the rest of the chart for Buenos Aires look like?
Oh, okay. The moon and the sun are in Gemini.
Ah, so very
In
dexterous
conjunction.
dancing. Very dexterous.
Yeah, totally, exactly. It adds to it, no?
Yeah.
It's yeah, and also Scorpio in the fourth house and Taurus in the midheaven. No, so it gives also this like the Scorpio in the fourth house. That's this kind of like kind of like the being really aware, of dangers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking for a reference of security and beauty as well. And tango actually developed in Buenos Aires when Pluto, the ruler of the fourth house, was transiting on the 10th house, yeah?
Oh,
in Taurus.
So it's home culture. Fourth house was kind of being very powerfully projected up to the career sector, the status before the public.
Exactly. And because Black Moon Lilith is in Cancer, yeah, which relates to that fourth house in Scorpio, yeah. So this got really converted, this aspect in the culture, in the collective, got really converted into talent. It's quite amazing.
Now, here's a good example you had mentioned. Ed Snowden. He's got a well-placed, or strongly placed Black Moon Lilith.
Yeah, he does. It's very, very interesting one. Well, he has a Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius, 10 degrees of Aquarius, in an exact trine to Mercury in Gemini. Yeah, very strong Mercury, because he has a whole stellium in Gemini, and this trine of so Gemini ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is a very strong planet, and it is an exact trine, a fluid aspect with Black Moon Lilith in air signs, Aquarius and Gemini. So this gives more potential to this aspect of the dealing with undercurrent and undercover information, yeah.
Yeah.
And also through technology.
Yeah.
Black Moon Lilith is in Aquarius, and at the same time, Black Moon Lilith is also in the 9th house, which relates to international affairs, but also to the matters of ethics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius is very interesting. I've observed a few cases where Black Moon Lilith in Aquarius will be expressed as someone that can really stand for their principles, for their ethical, take their ethical stand from their very gut, in a visceral way, somehow being able to stand it, even like through hard times, that the body goes through a hard time, you know, that they can somehow abstract themselves from that hard experience in the body because, you know, they are just like convicted, they just have their convictions, yeah?
Yeah.
And that is like viscerally strong for them. So, with that, and all being like in the house related to ethics, yeah, the ninth house, and one's ideals, yeah, Aquarius, yeah, ideals like of humanity, you know, like what one believes is good for the collective and all of that.
That's a great example.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting Black Moon Lilith he has. And also the thing that when the NSA whistleblowing happened, he had the Black Moon Lilith in transit, which was transiting in the sign of Gemini. So going over, like conjuncting all his stellium in Gemini, his North Node, his Sun, everything. And so, but that happens, every 9 years, because that's the cycle. But at that moment, he also had like other strong aspects going on. And right there, that day, that when he did it, when he spoke to Greenwald, it was, the Black Moon Lilith was in conjunction to his Sun, in exact conjunction, and the Moon also passed there that day.
Oh, wow.
And also conjuncted his Sun and Black Moon Lilith. So as Jupiter was in conjunction to his Mars and his North Node, so it was a very turning point in his life, for sure. And Black Moon Lilith adding this visceral aspect, this daring aspect, of being like this rebellious, bringing things, from the underground, bringing it out.
Well, did I ever tell you the story? I was just talking about this the other day. I had submitted of course, I had a cover article I wrote on an NSA and it snowed. It was in TMA in 2013. And I had sent that to them like in April or whatever, March, April of 2013. Now, this is before Snowden went public. It was just about the NSA. Because I thought, I'd written the NSA article like years earlier, and I just figured, so somebody, an astrologer I see, picked out a day. She said, well, why don't you send it in on this day? I was like, okay. So I dropped it in the mailbox at the exact moment that she had indicated. And then it turned out that was the day that Ed Snowden had contacted either the Washington Post or Glenn Greenwald on that exact day. So when that article came out in August, September, Black Moon Lilith would have been in Cancer going over all my Cancer planets.
Yeah, you see, then you had something similar to Snowden then, because
exactly.
It was conjuncting your Sun.
And Jupiter, Mercury, and I have Black Moon Lilith in Cancer conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. I remember you told me that. Yeah, and but I mean, your Sun is more like at the beginning of Cancer. Yeah, 6th Cancer.
So it was conjuncting your Sun in August of that year.
I'd have to go back and look at the exact.
But I'm pretty sure. I mean, it was applying. It was in a close conjunction already. Yeah. Very interesting.
You have another example, MIT, because when I first saw this example, I was like MIT, because I think of MIT as like the what do you call it, like the conventional mainstream establishment, but you had an interesting perspective on it, on how their Black Moon Lilith expresses.
Okay. So the MIT, I mean, it is of course very conventional in a way, but also, I mean, if you consider like in the world of science, it did bring out some it did break ground, and also Noam Chomsky is not that conventional, like he dares to speak a lot, and he is a strong reference, in MIT,
right?
And I'm not talking about him specifically, but in the thing of like daring to advance in study. I'm not talking here even like a political stance or anything like that. but just considering like in sciences, you know, like what some of the achievements, some of the studies that have been done there. They have Black Moon Lilith in Aries, in conjunction to midheaven, also like this outer expression into the world, and the sun. So it's like really like the life purpose and the identity. Yeah. Also like somehow the willing to be like the first, the top one. Yeah. Already the sun in Aries there would already give that. But if you add the Black Moon Lilith, you give that daring, visceral impulse. At the same time, I'd have two more considerations. One is, as a dispositor, the ruler of Aries is Mars and is in Gemini conjunct Uranus, then the thing of knowledge, you know, and sciences and future possibility, yeah, that interest is like a very strong guiding force, emphasized with this visceral touch of Black Moon Lilith. But if we consider that actually the midheaven is not something that we have it already, something that we really need to bring in, to really conquer, yeah, to ourselves. So that would also indicate that inside the structure, yeah, they would really need to bring more of that daring touch, yeah?
Yeah.
So that would, yeah, somehow.
I know I've read stuff that MIT's done, and, you know, being kind of into the alternative news, at a certain point my brain overflows with weird news stories that I've read over the years. But I do, like at a certain point, it's like, I have a never-ending supply of strange stuff I can write about, basically, at this point. But I know, I said I was like, I will never run out at this point in my life, because what I did for a living for 10 years, I will never run out of strange stuff to write about. Don't worry, that can't happen. But I wish I could remember some specific examples, but I do know over the years I've read stuff that was going on at MIT where it's like kind of fascinating, but also really scary, involving technology, where you're like, wow, that's so cool. I really hope that never gets deployed outside of the walls of MIT or
yeah. Yes.
Like genetically cloned robots or stuff like that.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, exactly. And also, I mean, this point, Black Moon Lilith, with all my love and respect for it, I know that it can also indicate, because it is a very beautiful aspect when it is converted into a life-enhancing creative expression, yeah? But it's really like, it's the real thing in that sense, because it's really like dealing with like the most raw and a point that can be like very destructive, But if it is converted in a creative way, in a life-enhancing way, then it is beautiful, and it can really, really, truly be sublime. But it is really from terrible to sublime,
Got it.
So, and the terrible aspect, we cannot overlook,
Right.
It's something that is so it can also indicate, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I could see MIT.
For instance.
Oh.
Sorry?
Oh, go on.
For instance, getting into these subjects that we have in common, like the interest of, and I mean, I loved your articles, by the way, and I'm looking forward to the CIA one in Hexagon 3. So CIA, has Black Moon Lilith in conjunction to the cusp of the 4th house, in Capricorn. So it's a very like this aspect of like subversive in a different way than Hexagon, more like this institutional, hardcore.
Subverting the home front. It would be subverting the home front if the 4th house.
Yeah.
And they got a weird corporate culture there. I don't know if I was able to include this stuff in the article because it may have just gotten too long. Like even even buying coffee at the CIA Starbucks is like a paranoid experience. Like it's like you go into the coffee shop there and everybody's the baristas have to write like out fake names. So like if you were like you know, if you were working at the Central Intelligence Agency, not the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, you go into the coffee and they call you, you know, you'd have to be like Susan or something, you know, like you can't even have your real name on your coffee. You know,
I couldn't say, hey, I'm Cosmic Agent 55. I'd have to say I'm Susan. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't include anything about their. I don't even think I got into that in that article. Did you see the thing? Not to get off topic, but oh wait, this would make sense because of it's in Libra, and you were talking about fashion, and I actually was thinking of this as like a weird, strange Libra thing. They have financed a skin cream that collects your DNA. But it's very, yeah, I swear to God, dude. This was just in The Intercept. Is Glenn Greenwald's, newspaper or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but I haven't seen that. I'll look for it.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. So it's like you look at the photo, and like all these celebrities are like, it's like one of these skin creams where I would normally make fun of it because it's like, you know, there's some woman on TV who's like, I got rid of all my wrinkles with this skin cream. It makes me look youthful, and you know, and that's the company that makes it, but they got financing from In-Q-Tel, which is the CIA's venture capital arm, and I guess it collects your DNA. And I was like, not to be selfish about the whole situation, but I was like, damn, I don't even know if I can have time to get this into the article at this point, you know? But they just came out, and like you were saying, Black Moon Lilith in Libra, Coco Chanel, beauty, but then it's like there's this dark element where it's basically there to collect your DNA. I don't know how skin cream can collect DNA, but they figured it out somehow.
Whoa, that's wow, huh?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll read it later. Yeah. You're wondering how, no, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about skin cream, to be honest, so I have to go read it up. Yeah. There's one, we have it coming up. It's in Libra right now, and he said there's one it's going to be in Scorpio pretty soon.
Yeah.
So what would that indicate?
From the 21st of May on until the 2nd of February next year. 9 months, yeah? So, it's very interesting. Yeah, of course, we are having this very intense period in humanity, very strong period right now with the mutable cross of Saturn square Neptune, but thank God also trining Uranus soon, as Willow well pointed out, in Hexagon 2.
Yes.
Really nice article there too.
She was the last person on to talk about Black Moon Lilith, I think, a few years ago.
Oh, right. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I mean, with this whole movement, and we're actually heading to 2026, where we'll have the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune, which will end this Saturn-Neptune cycle, but the conjunction will be at 0 degrees of Aries, at the first degree of Aries. So it's very, that's going to be quite a strong moment. But what I mean is a new concept of reality that somehow is going to take place. But the quality of it depends on what we do right now, as the square is happening and all the other things that are going on. Why am I talking about this? Just to tune into the context, because this Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is gonna kind of like get things into a deeper, more intense level, where the thing of like taking one stand is going to be even more important. It can have quite a dark side to it. It's very much like if there's this thing of like kind of like choosing, to go like or what to do with the death impulse and the life impulse. This is going to be even more intense as it will be in Scorpio, but it can also be very beautiful, as it has a very strong potential for transformation at a very deep level. One thing, like if we think of like relationships and either romantic relationships or just relationships in general, in our life, Black Moon Lilith in Libra is doing this thing of kind of like moving things from the visceral level and kind of like bringing up the things that were not so well elaborated in our relationships, in our relation to other people, in many different ways, kind of bringing what perhaps was there kind of not so comfortable or not so well elaborated, and then giving opportunity for us to do that, to elaborate and to integrate aspects, to also like spice things up or to make things more real and stuff. So also to dare, as I spoke about in my Cosmic Intelligence Agency article on Black Moon Lilith, the thing of the approach in tango, like this tango ballerina saying that it's like this adventure of being the insecurity, like owning one's own insecurity and dealing with that, like as we meet the other, So in tango that can be lived in a very intensified way, So because if you have to improvise in that dance with the other, and it's quite an intense experience. So we can relate that well to Black Moon Lilith in Libra, but it's still like kind of this, this meeting with the other. And as we dare that, as we dare this elaboration, then Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is the possibility of really going deep, of deeper and really transforming and enhancing and very, very powerful, and can be very beautiful and a very passionate time as well. But it's really kind of like, it's an intense period, People with Black Moon Lilith, for instance, we have Che Guevara, we have like some very intense characters. So and very interesting ones as well. But it's a daring period, I'd say. I don't know if I managed to
I'm trying to think where
give a glimpse.
I'm just trying to think. If the Black Moon Lilith in Libra is the CIA skin cream, what could Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio express as? I don't. I have to think about that before I say what it could be.
Yeah.
So, what can people do with their you kind of already elaborated on this. What people can do with their Black Moon Lilith is try to transmute it into something sublime.
Yeah. Well, very interesting to find out. Yeah. People can do that, let's say, in Astro.com, for instance, to get their chart and to ask for Black Moon Lilith. I suggest to get Black Moon Lilith mean node, because we can choose either true node or mean node. And the true node it kind of goes like as if in a zigzag all the time. So it is interesting, but it's more like into a detail,
Mm-hmm.
The mean node is really the effect. So to find out the mean node of Black Moon Lilith, and then to see the sign and the house, and see what are the most, like, if you take it to the raw level, of that sign, what could be like the worst difficulty, and one can easily relate to that when we get to know what it is.
Yeah.
It's easy to relate to one's own experience. And then that must be converted. The thing is, that impulse, in human beings is something that cannot just be denied. The let's say the destructive impulse, in nature, and in the human nature.
Wait, so did you say go with true node or mean node?
Sorry?
Go with true node or mean node? I'm on there right now. I'm going to try to figure mine out.
With mean node.
Mean node. Okay, got it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, mean node. Mean node. And then the thing is that that impulse, it needs to actually just find a way, like be channeled into something. Because it's part of life, is this duality, the destructive and creative impulses. So the thing is that it needs to find a creative outlet. So find out what the sign of your Black Moon Lilith is, and find creative ways to deal with that somehow.
No. Oh. Well, okay, I think she got dropped there. We'll try to get her back on. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just emailing her, say, hey, just call back because we still got to do Sinistry. Okay, so while we wait for Vanessa to, oh, there she is. Okay, Vanessa. Yeah, okay, we'll get you back on. Okay. Okay, so we have resumed. Apparently, whatever you're saying must have been very powerful because the phone dropped. Hello? That's what happens. You dropping too much knowledge.
Yeah,
the NSA was like,
happens.
gotta shut her down. Can't have all this potent knowledge out there. Gotta cut it off. Shut it down. But as you were saying,
because the thing is, we really sorry.
Oh, I was saying as you were saying.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as I was saying, actually, the destructive impulses, yeah. And for instance, compulsion, any kind of compulsion, yeah, as minimum as it may seem, but that sort of impulse must be put in service of a creative action, yeah. Whatever thing we might be obsessed about, or just somehow that needs to be converted to be at service. Kind of, let's say, put our obsessive interest or desire for something, really put that serving, some creative expression. So let's say someone that is obsessed with perfection, to put that, let's say a Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, for instance, So to put that into dedicating that, it's for something that is somehow life enhancing, and then you can get like really like experts in massage, for instance, or acupuncture.
I was going to say that could be like an eating disorder. Like if somebody's obsessed with perfection, it could be an eating disorder because like they monitor every little calorie. Or it could be like a ballet dancer where you have to like every little move has to be precisely perfect.
Exactly. You need to feel every like fiber of your body.
Yeah.
You see all the like the details. Because if that is just like as the compulsion, the destructive obsession, it can be like very annoying. Every little detail. How irritating, or how uncomfortable that can be. But if that attention to every little detail can be put into a creative expression, a creative development, then it becomes beautiful. And suddenly, and that's the very beautiful thing, it's that what I can say from experience and from accompanying people throughout that kind of experience, quite a few people. It's something that from a certain point on, when that energy is like, directed into something creative, suddenly that really becomes a pleasure. It really becomes sublime. It really does become a sublime experience. So it's very interesting because then it is converted, that very strong impulse is converted into something beautiful. And suddenly it becomes a joy. Something that could be like really uncomfortable and unpleasant can become really a joy and a fulfillment.
Now,
so
can you,
that is a beautiful thing,
Yeah, can you speak a little bit about Black Moon Lilith and Sinistry? So, in like Charlie, when you look at two people, whether professional or romantic, like how Black Moon Lilith would influence their interactions.
Okay. Well, Black Moon Lilith in Sinistry, if we think like for like romantic relationship, it is often found, connections to either to the person's ascendant that will give like a very like visceral impact, like the body. Yeah, let's say someone has the ascendant on the other person's Black Moon Lilith. The one that has the ascendant, meaning the body of the person, yeah, will have that visceral impact in the other person, yeah. Or the moon, the person that has the white moon in relation to the Black Moon Lilith of the other can be like a manifesting expression of the one that has the Black Moon Lilith. Like, for instance, if it is, let's say, a man with a Black Moon Lilith in a certain sign, and the woman has the white moon on that sign, in that sign. So that will be like, she can express that. Or even if she has the sun, yeah? The sun in that sign, it will mean she can bring that into light, that deeper aspect, that undercurrent vibration that he has of like his anima, yeah, his feminine aspects, or his more visceral, unexpressed aspects can be manifested in that woman, let's say, yeah?
Got it.
And also, I mean, the other way around, like connections of Black Moon Lilith in synastry can be will give that visceral touch, yeah? And will like the passionate aspect will sure be super important, yeah? If there's that kind of connection, it will add that spice, let's say.
Yeah, I'll have to start paying more attention to this.
Sorry?
I said I'll have to start paying more attention to the Black Moon Lilith in synastry.
Yeah, it is a very interesting point, very.
Yeah.
And US also, like, professionally. For creative projects, yeah? Of course, not all, because let's say if something needs to be like less visceral, you know, like more rational and stuff, it might not always work that well, yeah?
Right.
That the Black Moon Lilith is activated. It depends how creative the work can be.
Right.
For instance, yeah, for creative expressions in movies, as I wrote in the article. There is this in the article for Hexagon 3. There are quite a few cases, very very interesting to observe, and even cases that I thought like, I wonder if that and that, because I found, let's say in Black Swan, Aronofsky movie with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis. They have this connection of one having the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio and the other one having the white moon in conjunction to that Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio as well. So, and then I started to watch other situations, and then I got to a moment when I thought, I wonder if Thelma and Louise, which became like a classic, duo, if they have that. And then, yes, they do. Oh, wow. They do have that connection. And it's very interesting because, and also this Argentinian classic called The Nine Queens, Las Nueve Reinas. The Nine Queens is really a very excellent duo there, and they also have that, Ricardo Darín and Gaston Paul. So when the actors have that and they work together in a movie, what it happens is, because this is another interesting way to understand Black Moon Lilith and also its relation to the white moon, we can think of a mirror. A mirror needs a crystal, and behind the crystal, some dark metal that will give the depth for the reflection to really be like neat and deep, for the image to have depth. This dark metal behind the crystal is needed. So when we have moon and black moon in a connection, especially in a conjunction, for creative projects, that's very interesting because it will really, that's what's going to happen. Like the ability to reflect white moon with depth, black moon.
Right.
Yeah? So that will give an impact, a very strong impact, will touch the public in a strong way, in a fascinating way.
Got it. So maybe not so good if you're just doing a standard issue accounting practice, business accounting.
Yeah,
but good for,
then because if it's just activated and it doesn't really have a creative outlet, it might not be that interesting.
But in a movie, like a psychological thriller or something that's going to move people's emotions, then it would be really.
Then you gotta really you need to check with Black Moon Lilith. What is she up to?
Yeah, she's always up to
you need her help with that.
Yeah. All right, so we're at the top of the hour. So if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, so my email is Vanessa Guazzelli with double Z and double L, Paim with an M at the end, at gmail.com. And also, it's easy to find me through the Cosmic Intelligence Agency as Agent 55 of the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. There's also a page I have in there in the site, which is you can find it in Facebook or at the site, www.cosmicintelligenceagency.com.
So if they just Google Cosmic Intelligence Agency Vanessa, they'll probably
that's the best. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you so much for being on. I'll get the MP3s up later today. So.
Great. Super nice to be with you in the show, and looking forward to Hexagon 3. It's a pleasure to be participating in this project because I really identified with the subversive aspect of
awesome. That's always good
Hexagon.
To hear.
It's a very, very cool publication, and I'm very honored to be participating and happy to be with you today.
Cool, thank you. All right, I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Okay, bye. Okay, folks.
Bye.
So you listen to KLWS 107.3 FM, Occidental, California.